Hi, welcome. It's our August edition of Crohn's and Colitis Connect, and I'm Jacquelin Leech, and I have with me today Miss Amy.
Harrell. Yes, it's my first time to co-host, so I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great
to
show.
School.
I know. Back to school was real this week.
Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody's just tired.
That is, definitely tired.
Moms, kids, teachers.
And a lot more traffic back on the roads.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
It is. It's already counting down to the Labor Day, right?
It's in a couple weeks. So.
Yeah. Jackson started kindergarten at Primrose, and
so
I didn't think it was going to be that much of a difference, but the having to arrive before 8 a.m. has been an adjustment for everyone.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we're getting there.
He was pretty tired the other day coming home, right?
He was. 2 of the 3 days so far, he's fallen asleep on the way home. But
yeah.
Last night was a little bit better. So, yeah. But we're excited. We have such a busy fall.
Yes.
A fun fall, and we're going to start kicking that off today, sharing some of our upcoming events. And we're really excited about what we have coming and invite you to be part of it with us. We have later on in the show today Dr. Rajeev Jain with TDC, and he's also the Chief of Gastroenterology at Texas Health Presby. And he's got some really interesting conversation happening with patient education and shared decision making. That was a mouthful. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. And we have Grayson Mask coming up too in the show. He's a member of the Young Professionals group, and we're going to interview him about his volunteer position.
Great. And they have a fun trivia night coming up that we'll be talking about.
Get your calendars out. We've got a lot of events, and it's going to fly by.
Great. Well, let's get started. Up next, we have Aliciaccfa Barron with our Clinical Ambassadors Program.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia and I'm your Education Manager, and today I want to talk to you about our Clinical Trials Ambassador Program. The Foundation started the Clinical Trials Ambassador Program to help our community learn more about clinical trials, what they are, how they work, and what it's like to participate in one. Now, the goal of this program is to encourage participation in clinical trials for inflammatory bowel diseases and ultimately to help move critical research forward. Every new treatment for IBD has to go through this clinical trials process. And so the only way for new treatments to become available is to get people to be part of that process. And that's why this program is so important. And that's why we need you. If you or your child has ever participated in a clinical trial for IBD, and if you really want to help advance research and you don't mind public speaking, then you might be the perfect person to join this program as one of our clinical trials ambassadors. So in the ambassador training program, you're going to be trained to talk about the whole clinical trial process of what all of the different phases are and what that's like. You're going to practice telling your story about being part of a clinical trial, and you'll get trained to answer some questions and to be a mentor to people who are living with this disease, with these diseases, and who are considering being part of the trial. The idea is at the end of this training, you are going to be super, super comfortable talking about all of that stuff, talking about clinical trials as a whole, and to serve as a mentor to people who are considering it. So that's really the idea, is that we want you to be able to share your story and help other people learn about this and decide if this is right for them. Now, the next training for our ambassadors is coming up really fast, and the deadline to be applied to B1 is even faster. So the deadline to apply is August 30th, so coming up really soon. If you're interested in this, you want to apply, please go to this part of our website, super fast, go here, and you're going to apply, click on the application that's at the bottom of this. It'll tell you a little more about the program, and then the application is at the very, very bottom. The application is a little bit lengthy. It may take you 15 minutes, maybe to 30 minutes if you're really wordy. It would take me 30 minutes for sure, but the application is pretty straightforward. It's going to ask you some information about yourself. It's going to ask what part of a clinical trial did you participate in, where did you do it, how comfortable are you public speaking, how active are you on social media, how comfortable are you with social media, how active are you with the foundation, and then also it'll ask you to write a little essay about your experience in the clinical trial. But don't worry, that very short essay does not have to be perfect. That's part of why we're sending you through this training, is to really help you refine your story to be able to deliver it really easily and confidently. And to be able to more confidently public speak. So it's a really awesome training and is a really valuable way for you to help the foundation. This is a great way for you to give back to the community and a really great way to share your story. So I hope you'll consider it. So if you've been part of a clinical trial, you're going to go here, and you want to become one of our investors, you're going to go here, or you're going to email my colleague, Catherine Dermody. Catherine Dermody is the person in charge of this program. So you can also email her to let her know you're interested, and she can share the website and information with you. So do either of these things if you want to become one of our clinical trials ambassadors. So thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Alicia, and thank you so much, Dr. Jain, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure and honor.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to get started. Tell us about why you chose gastroenterology and, in particular, IBD.
Well, gastroenterology is a beautiful meld between being a diagnostician like internal medicine doctors are, but also with the procedures we perform, it gives you the option to do invasive procedures, diagnosis, and treat things that you could keep the patient from requiring major operations or surgery. So it's kind of a meld between minor surgery but still being a diagnostician. I really have been moving my practice more and more towards inflammatory bowel disease because those patients really require a lot of care, often over the long term, and you really build a unique relationship between you and your patient. And so it's fulfilling for the physician to be able to take care of them and get them better and keep them better. And now with all the advances in the therapeutics, it really is nice to be able to offer your patients some treatments so they can avoid surgery and other complications.
Right. It really is a lifelong journey with them and you together. We've seen in interviews that you speak a lot about the importance of patient education and participation in their care. How do you work with your patients to help them best understand their disease?
I start by asking them what they already understand, so I know what the starting point is. And then from there, using, I think, appropriate language, because a lot of times doctors will talk like they're talking to another doctor, and that may not be the best way to communicate with the patient. So I try to make sure I'm communicating at a level that's appropriate for them and their knowledge and adjust accordingly. And then I like to use visual aids, and in fact, I partnered with the Inflammatory Bowel Disease Parenthood Project. I was one of the co-leads on that with the AGA and the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. And there are wonderful patient-facing opportunities for PDFs and other aids to help the patients understand what their treatment options are. So I will often direct them to the CCF website and use that as a great talking point to help direct them what might be the best treatment options for them.
Great. That's great. And how do you help your patients decide what is the best treatment option for them?
I think you have to look at what their disease is, what their current place in their life is, and work, family, and all those things, and what fits them the best. So I don't usually say this is the one best treatment. Usually there's more than one option. And then I try to help them decide which one option is the best for them by taking those other factors into play. Every once in a while there is only one option, and I won't make them make the decision without that kind of information. So I will clearly tell them if that's the case.
Okay, great. Do you use any decision-making tools with your patients to help them with treatment options and decisions? You mentioned the website is one of those resources.
So again, the IBD Parenthood Project has a lot of great PDFs that the patients can download directly, not just healthcare providers, but also in our exam room, we're fortunate we have a monitor that we can convert into an anatomic diagram, and I can actually mark on it and draw.
Wow.
And I tell them, take a picture with your smartphone, and that way you've got that image, and then we can talk about where the disease is located and what might need to be done to manage that better. So I'll use things like that.
Okay, that's great. Many people in our community are utilizing complementary medicine to help them with their disease. How do you work with patients who want to explore those types of options?
I'm open to discussing that with the patients, because what that tells you is that our conventional or traditional medicine is not getting the job done. And I think it's important that many of our medicines even came from that. So I will open to that and discuss it. We just have to be careful that some of the medicines can actually cause harm. So I want to make sure that if they're trying something, it's safe and it won't interfere with their other medications or, in worst case scenarios, cause other problems.
Right, absolutely. And how would you advise patients to get more involved with their IBD care and more educated about their disease?
Well, I would tell them, watch this program.
Right.
And get involved in this chapter. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to learn more about their disease and get their message out. For example, in September, I believe September 21st, the North Texas chapter is hosting an educational event for patients and providers, and as well as the family members. And then we're really excited that the Crohn's Colitis Foundation annual Crohn's Colitis Congress meeting will be in January, late January in Austin, Texas. So there will be likely a patient-facing program there as well. So fantastic opportunities in North and Central Texas for patients to get involved in this organization and learn more and help their fellow patients.
That's great. Thank you so much. And we can definitely find more at crohnscolitisfoundation.org. And where can we find more about the parent?
Again, it's www.ibdparenthood.org.
Okay.
Or at the AGA, and the Crohn's Colitis Foundation has links to it as well.
Okay, great. We'll be sure to share that so everyone can access that. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks again for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
we so appreciate you too and all that you're doing for our community.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Up next, get connected with our Young Professionals group.
Hi everyone, it's Alicia again, and I wanted to personally invite you to join me at the IBD Education Symposium. It's coming up really quickly on Saturday, September 21st, and we have a really fantastic lineup of speakers and topics for both patients and for professionals. The professional program is intended for advanced practice professionals and nurses and has some great information on how to best care for people living with inflammatory bowel disease. And the patient program will be a really fantastic lineup of information about the latest in research on the microbiome and precision medicine, which is super cool, as well as information on pain management and clinical trials, and also integrative medicine, which I know you all practice, and complementary medicine. So it's a really great panel of doctors talking about what do we know about that and what's effective and maybe what's not so effective. So I hope you'll join me there. If you are going to register by going to online.crohnscolitisfoundation.org/NTXED 2019. So North Texas Ed, NTXED 2019. Go there. It's going to be at the beautiful Arboretum and Botanical Gardens. And then afterwards, you're going to get a chance to walk around the gardens for free. So if you come join us at this, you have access to the gardens afterwards. So please do come and join us. It's going to be a really fantastic day, a great way to meet other people living with these diseases and to meet some of the doctors that treat these diseases as well. So please do join us, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Alicia. Such good information. I have with me Grayson Mask. Grayson, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you found the foundation?
Definitely. Thank you for having me here and to explain the organization. So I'm a recent UNT graduate, almost a year now, where I was in Denton for 3 years to get my finance degree. But yeah, I received my first postgraduate job with Republic National Distributing Company, where I work in their finance department. And outside of that, really I just wanted to kind of get involved and kind of check around the DFW area on kind of just young professional groups and kind of get out there and meet there. And yeah, I researched a few different organizations, and Crohn's and Colitis Young Professionals was one of them that I stumbled upon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you said at one point you had worked with a pharmaceutical company, and you kind of got excited about diseases that are lesser known, right?
Yeah, I worked for Rihanna Pharmaceuticals, which dealt with kind of doing prescriptions and treatments for diseases and disorders that weren't globally known. And yeah, so that kind of got me interested, and not just for the medical field, but just organizations in general that deal with things that aren't globally known, but people kind of deal with on a regular basis. So when I saw Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, I didn't know anyone that had that disorder or had Crohn's or colitis. And yeah, I didn't know anyone on the board. And so when I kind of reached out, it was definitely a very mind-blowing experience kind of to hear about some of the bad situations people have been in, but also to hear about some of the triumphs and some of the great stories on how they were able to kind of overcome having it.
Well, we definitely appreciate you answering the call and jumping in to want to help out our patient population, because there are a lot of things they deal with, and awareness is definitely one of those. So, that's a great opportunity to talk about how volunteerism with our chapter doesn't have to be a person that is connected to the disease, a patient or a provider like Dr. Jain, but it could be someone like Grayson who just found us and wanted to help. So thank you again, Grayson, for getting involved with us and for all the work you do on the Young Professional Board.
Definitely. It's definitely been a very great experience so far on just some of the people I've been able to meet and kind of the stories I've been able to hear.
So tell us a little bit about the Young Professional Board. What do you do with young professionals, and what is the organization about?
Yeah, so it's a really fun group, and basically we're a young professional group of young professionals under the age of 40, and sometimes it's recent graduates, sometimes it's people working on master degrees, sometimes it's just people who've been in different industries for a few years. But we meet sometimes on a monthly basis where we have fun happy hour events and networking events where you get to kind of meet new people and kind of collaborate with other organizations, as well as doing annual fundraisers and annual volunteer events to really push the national organization forward and to make this organization kind of more well-known. But yeah, I would definitely really encourage anyone, if you're a young professional in the DFW area, really check out this organization. We have a lot of great new events coming up.
Yes, and they're a very fun group. Usually there's some cocktails involved with their meetings, and they're very social and just a good group of people to get involved with and network with and just be around other young professionals in the area. So let's talk about trivia night. I think we're all dying to know what it's going to be like this year. This will be the second year in a row that Young Professionals has put on a trivia night, and last year it was so successful. What's happening this year, and when is it?
Yeah, so based on kind of the last year experience, we kind of saw some of the similarities that we wanted to do for this year and also some of the noticeable differences. So we're doing the event on September 19th at 7 p.m. at Eastwood Bar, which was a really great location. Everyone had a fun time at that event. But what you'll notice is that for our trivia and for our raffle event, there was definitely a larger turnout. With our raffle event last year, we had about 14 raffle donations that were provided from our community partners, and this year we have close to 40. So we, so we're definitely going
That's
to,
awesome.
we had a lot of community partners reach out, and so we're going to be able to combine and collaborate and combine some of those items to make really huge gift baskets that people can take home.
Heck yeah, that's great. I can't wait to see what there is, but I can win. Cool. Well, our favorite thing to do when we have a patient on the show is to ask them their number one place to go number two. But since Grayson isn't a patient and may not want to talk about number two, and since he works for Republic Beverage, we thought we'd ask him, what's your favorite cocktail?
Primarily, I normally get a old-fashioned drink, really just because
I
like to
pegged
do.
you for a bourbon guy.
Yeah, I like to kind of go to different bars and kind of see how they style their different types of their twists on the old-fashioned. The other night, I actually had an old-fashioned it was an espresso syrup that they kind of combined with it. So I'm a huge coffee guy, so it's definitely a nice mix.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Grayson, and thank you so much for being involved with our organization. And that'll wrap up our segment.
Hi.
Hello.
Now we get to share about all of our fall events, right?
I know,
I'm back
yeah,
in a
we've got
flash.
them all of them lined up on a slide.
Thanks again, Grayson. We are so glad to have you on and join us and talk about Trivia Night, which Trivia Night is also falling on North Texas Giving Day. It's a big day hosted by the Communities Foundation of Texas, and we're thrilled to partner with, there's over 2,000 different nonprofit organizations.
So many.
Yes. So we are asking you right now to save the date for North Texas Giving Day on September 19th from 6 a.m. to midnight. Your donation through the foundation, through the community's foundation to the chapter will be impacted, will be increased with some matching opportunities. They also do bonus funds, so you can really make your gift go farther to the chapter, North Texas chapter, on North Texas Giving Day.
And if you happen to want to go to trivia night, hurry up and get your tickets.
Yes.
Because they sold out last year. So I will be buying my tickets soon. So I want to make sure that I'm there for all those raffle prizes.
Yes, it's so much fun. So trivia night's also on the same day, on North Texas Giving Day, to really just make that day extra special for us and for our chapter. And I know that some of that information was shared earlier. So we hope that you'll join us for that. But we also have a very big event coming up next month.
Take Steps is coming up again. Our other walk that we host with the North Texas chapter is the Fort Worth Walk. And it's going to take place on Saturday, September the 28th at Trinity Park in Fort Worth, Pavilion 5. It's the pavilion that's next to the train depot right off of University Drive. Easy to find. We have some inflatable games for the kids this year. We have a VIP area that's going to have a mimosa bar that's sponsored by Kraft 2020. So we have a lot of exciting things happening with the Fort Worth Walk this year. And if you've never been to one of our walks, walks are just the thing that you come, you can bring the dog and the kids, and it's stroller friendly and wheelchair friendly, and everybody can come out and kind of have a fun celebratory time together because it's a big group. Our community comes together. Patients, caregivers, providers, everybody is there, and we're celebrating what we've been able to do together in moving the needle and finding cures and improving quality of life of patients in North Texas. So I think did we put a link up there yet?
Yes.
Go to CC, Take Steps.
Yes, right there. CC,
at
Take
Fort
Steps.
Worth. Yes, there you go.
So that is where they can find more information. They can also get signed up. You can register as a team, invite family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, whomever to join us. And you can also register as an individual. So it's going to be a fun event. We also want to make sure we thank our sponsors for this year's event. Thank you so much to our incredible partners who generously support this event and our endeavors and help with the community. So big thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun, truly a family-friendly event, and we'd love to have you guys out there on September 28th. So, yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's it.
Is that it? Don't we have more events coming up?
We do. But we're going to save that for the next show so we don't overwhelm you guys. Like we said, we have a busy fall, but
Well, we'll be back in a month. And
good job.
Good luck with school. Everyone who's in school or teaching school or driving kids to school right now or in traffic, that's school traffic. Be safe out there.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next month.